Well, hello and welcome to Stonemont Church. Today's devotion, we're going to be reading Psalm 23, the 23rd Psalm. It's one of the most recognized by people throughout the world. In our devotion book, I'll read what I've already written. It says, also known as the Shepherd's Psalm, Psalm 23 is one of the most recognized and best-known collection of verses in the Bible. Using poetic language, it speaks of God's care, support, and protection during life's troubles. Memorize this psalm and repeat it to yourself daily, hearing in its words the assurance that God is always with you. That's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot to cover in a fairly short piece. But we're going to read it here, and I'm going to add just a couple of thoughts as we go along. A complete dissection of this psalm would take a lot more than the time we devote to the devotions here. I think I've already done a sermon on this. If I haven't, I soon will to put up online here. But it really does take, much like the Lord's Prayer, there is so much in it, in so few words, so much more than most people understand. I'm going to read through it once, and then I'll go back through it and make just a couple of notations. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Okay, let's go back and just take a brief look at each one of those lines or sections. And like I say, we're not going to get into the real meat of this, but we're going to get a little bit deeper than just looking at the words. The Lord is my shepherd. What does that mean? What does a shepherd do for his flock? His responsibility is to take care of them, make sure that they're safe, right? Make sure that they're fed and that they're safe. It says, I shall not want. Now, when I gave the message to my kids about this, I explained to them that what that means is not that they can't want things. And here is a way that the word is used differently than many people think. And it's easy to be put off by messages in the Bible, especially when you read them from the King James, because the words don't mean the same. And here, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't want things, okay? You want to do God's will, right? Does that mean that you should not want? Of course not. What it means, I shall not want, it means you shall not be in want. You shall not be wanting for anything that you need, because the Lord, as your shepherd, is providing for all of your needs. Think about that. If you're going through trials in life, think about what's important and what's really not. What only seems as if it's important because it's important to the way that we worry and go through life in anxiety, or that we want extra things. We want, right? But we're not in want. And when we simply give ourselves over to the understanding that God is going to provide for our needs, and that our needs are the things that are important, beginning with Him, then our life takes a different perspective. We see it differently. So that's what it means that I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. Now what's that? Do you really want to lie down in a green pasture? Well, maybe you do. I mean, it's fun. You can lie down and it's nice, isn't it? It's relaxing. He leadeth me beside the still waters. The key there is still. Well, if you were a sheep, see, he's your shepherd. As a sheep, you want green pastures. And of course, this is metaphor. This is a matter of he is seeing to your needs. He is putting you and he is taking you to the places that are going to fulfill the needs that he knows your needs to be. You know, sheep will wander off. That's why we have to have sheepdogs, right? Or shepherds. Sheep will wander off into the rocks or the brambles or the bushes or whatever. Sheep aren't that smart, and neither are we when it comes to doing what's best for us. So he maketh me to lie down in green pastures. That means that he takes us to the places that are right for us, that are going to fulfill us, that are going to feed us. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He doesn't take us to the rushing river that might be dangerous. He doesn't take us to those places that could be, well, we can use that example. Very often people wander into raging waters, the mistakes that they make in their life, and they're dangerous for them. But God will take you to the still waters. He restoreth my soul. How often are our souls confused? How often are our souls broken with anxiety, heartache, many things, doubt, confusion, those things that we bring upon ourselves because we're not centered on him. So he restoreth your soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. He will keep you on the right path. If you listen to him through the Holy Spirit, he will keep you on the right path. When we listen to ourselves, it's easy to get off the path. And he does that for his name's sake, because if you are his, then the world sees you as a representative of him. And he doesn't want others to be misled by seeing your improper behavior. So he is going to lead you in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk, and I tell you, I don't know how many times as a police officer I said this one. Many police officers, many combat veterans will tell you they have repeated this one very often. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. I'm going to stop there before I complete this verse, because that's important. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and there are times in life, depending on your life, that you will feel as if that shadow of death is over you, it's threatening you. And it could be physical death, it could be death of your soul, it could be death of your psyche, it could be death of your mental stability. I will fear no evil. Now, why does it say that? Because all threats to us come from evil. Those threats to us that don't come from evil, those aren't really the important threats. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. When we're going to get, in today's New Testament reading, we'll be talking about Christ's temptations. Thou art with me, so I will fear no evil, because as long as God is with you, evil has no sway over you. Evil has no power over you. The only power it would have is through temptation, but God gives you the power to resist that temptation, as we read in the Lord's Prayer. Lead me not into temptation. And I said that very often people misunderstand that and say, well, why would God lead me into temptation? He wouldn't. What it really means is he keep me from temptation and keep temptation from me. So I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. When God is there, when Christ is there, the devil flees. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Now what does that mean? Thy rod and thy staff. The rod that a shepherd would use to discipline the sheep or fight off, or, not beat the sheep. Here, stop, get back in line there. And also to use against predators that come against the flock. That's comforting to know that your shepherd is taking care of you as a sheep, and we are the sheep. That he is going to defend us. He has his rod and his staff, the shepherd's crook. You know what that is, right? The shepherd's crook. You know why it's bent on the end? So that the shepherd can reach out there and put that around the front of the sheep without hurting it and say, come on back here, sheep. Get back in the fold. You're wandering out into danger. Come back here with me where you're safe. Okay? So his rod and his staff, his correction and his bringing you back, is keeping you safe. They comfort you. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. I have had a lot of friends, and I've had a lot of situations in my own life where I had people rise up against me. And you have a decision to make at that time. You have a decision as to whether or not you will fight them back on a human level, or whether you will let God take care of it. And as I've said often before, you let God take care of it, and you'll be amazed at what will happen the way he does right here. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. People may be up, maybe be talking badly about you. They might be trying to bring all sorts of trouble against you. And you know what God will do? If you let him, if you don't try to take care of it yourself, he will bring honor to you. He will bring all of the truth out right in front of those people who tried to cause you trouble. Now, it may take some time. One of the hardest things to do for God's direction and his blessing is to exercise patience. But do, because he will prepare a table for you, meaning he will bring you blessings right in front of the people who tried to tear you down. I know so many people that can testify to that. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. He anoints your head with oil. He blesses you. And your cup of blessings, if you allow him to take care of you and you do it his way, your cup of blessings will be more than your cup of life can hold. That's why I talk about you're not meant to be the final receptacle of his blessings. You're meant to be the conduit through which his blessings flow to others. So as that cup runneth over of blessings, it should spill onto all those around you. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. By allowing God to be your shepherd, he will take care of you. Goodness and mercy will be in your life, not anxiety and anger and hate, feelings of revenge, but goodness and mercy all the days of your life. And you will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. You will abide with him, and he will abide in you. So that's our reading for today. I suggest you go and get your Bible and read it to yourself. With these thoughts in mind, if you need to replay this, do so while you're reading. Share this with those who you think might benefit from hearing it. And until next time, may God bless you, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.